Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Thursday, September the 15th, race number 7 on opening day at Belmont at the Big A. The Belmont Fall Championship meeting this year will be run at Aqueduct. So we'll kick off a 50-cent late pick 4 with this race number 7. 6 furlongs on the outer turf course, fillies and mares. It's a first level allowance. We'll be back with the full preview after this brief message.
Want to view free Formulator past performances for this race? Head to the Race of the Day page at DRF.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel and bet this card with DRF Bets.
Here's the field for opening day's Belmont at the Big A race of the day. It's the 7th. It's a pretty big field, Mike. Scan the QR code for race of the day access on your mobile device. Mrs. Green got a fig last time out, graduating at Saratoga, but now she's up in class, and I really don't love the field she beat that day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think she did run well breaking her maiden last time. I'm not sure that was the greatest field in the world, and she did get a perfect trip in winning. But listen, she still ran a pretty fast race, Dan. She's basically run well in all 4 starts so far, and she still has upside.
Overflow field in here. We've got 10 in the body of the race. 11 through 15 are entered. 11 through 15 are entered main track only. They'll all be dangerous if the race comes off of the turf. We'll throw up the time form U.S. pace projector. I don't see a lot of blazers in this race. I do think Get the Candy has the speed to get to the lead. She went gate to wire last time out, although she kind of just walked the dog on the lead in there, but I don't really see any other blazers. I think Louis Saez is going to get aggressive on the 10.
Yeah, probably just try to make the front with her again. That's her running style anyway. You are correct that she didn't have to go very fast last time in holding on over state breds, but she's another horse who comes into this race in good form, and she should be forward.
A horse that could use a little bit of pace up front's the number 1 Tuscan Queen, who was stakes place sprinting in 2021 at Belmont and just doesn't seem to get much better in her subsequent outings. Her last race might have been a step in the right direction. We'll watch Tuscan Queen's effort. Now, she got a fast pace and a really nice trip. She was able to save ground turning into the stretch. She's able to shoot the gap down towards the inside. She gets out in the stretch, and she comes with a good run. The winner of this race did come back to win a stake at Kentucky Downs with a 93 buyer.
Winner of this race is pretty good, and you're right, though. Tuscan Queen got a really good trip in this race, and she ran. There's nothing wrong with this performance, Dan. She is just going to come up short of second at the end of this race while not threatening the winner. She ran fine in there. I thought she ran fine 2 starts back without necessarily an excuse in that spot either. Overall, I just think she is what she is. She's 1 for 10 on the turf. She tends to show up and run every time, and she fits right in this field.
And number 2 is Silky Blue, and Silky Blue shipped to Monmouth Park last time out to run in a 5.5 furlong turf dash, and she got wired by a horse that was able to control a very slow pace. That being said, while this horse was up against it from a race flow standpoint, I don't like the race she was in either from a class perspective.
I don't either. I just don't really like her form all that much. Dan. I mean, she's obviously a pretty good horse, and if she shows up and runs, one of her really good races here, then she can win this race, and she'll probably be a fair price. I'm just gotten a little bit tired of her. She's 5 years old now. She's out of her state bred conditions. And I just, didn't feel like she was the kind of horse that I would want if she came down at all off of that 12-1 morning line.
Not only did the number 3 Mrs. Green exceed the buyer par for this class level when winning her maiden at Saratoga, but she's a lightly raced 3-year-old with plenty of upside and the tactical speed to stay close if the pace is slow. Let's watch her win at Saratoga last time out. Jose Lezcano put her in the pocket on the back stretch in a very nice spot. She's in behind horses, though, here turning into the stretch, and for a second it looks like maybe things won't work out, but there's the hole, and Mrs. Green's going to shoot on through to win.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this trip just really worked out for her. To Mrs. Green's credit, she wins pretty easily, Dan. Once she got through that hole in mid-stretch, she moved away from this field. She won very easily in that spot. She earned a figure for it, as you pointed out. All 4 of her races are good. I don't really have a knock on her. She's the morning line favorite. I think she is the horse to beat in here. I didn't think she was a cinch.
The number 4, Join the Dots, was a $700,000 yearling purchase, a daughter of Medaglia d'Oro, and she won her career debut, and you're thinking, okay, here's another flying Medaglia d'Oro filly, but she never really panned out. They tried turf last time out as an experiment. Now they're cutting back in distance. It is worth noting her only win came sprinting, but she might have to overcome kind of a moderate pace setup here.
Yeah, I don't know if this race sets up that well for her. And at the end of the day, Dan, I just don't know how good this horse is. As you mentioned, she won her career debut last October. To me, she hasn't gotten any better since then. They switched her to turf last time. I thought that was a modest performance at best, although she did, have a little bit of traffic early in that race. I don't know. I just don't know how good this horse is, Dan. I didn't think she'd be a great price.
The 5 is Runaway Rocket, a horse that's cutting back in distance for trainer Tom Morley, who claimed her for $30,000 back in Belmont during the spring. Now, off the claim, she stretched out. She found a couple of nice spots, one in a condition claimer, one in a starter allowance, and she got it done. Last time out, maybe a little bit tough in this first level allowance condition, and now they're cutting her back. Is this distance too sharp for her?
Yeah, I don't know that I love her cutting back in this race. I mean, I don't really have a huge problem with them trying it because I don't know where they're going to go with her, outside of seeing if she can sprint here, Dan. I think we saw in her most recent start, she's not winning an entry-level allowance race, routing against quality fields. So they'll try sprinting her here. And I felt like she was a pretty hard horse to like, despite the year that Tom Morley's having, because he's having a great one.
Javier Castellano takes them out on the 6. Thunder Love, who will be making her circuit debut for trainer Paulo Lobo. Let's watch her last race at Horseshoe, Indianapolis last month. And she's just far behind for most of this race. She's going to swing widest into the stretch. She's going to come with a good kick. And the winner of this race is in good form. She would return to run second to Kentucky Downs in a third level allowance with a 77 buyer. Maybe a little bit of class relief here for Thunder Love, who earned a solid figure 3 back at Churchill.
Yeah, if nothing else, I guess she's a little bit of a wild card here, and she is a very fair price on the morning line. She's another one who I think her races are okay. I'm not, blown away by any of them necessarily. She ran fine last time. I guess this is a race she could win, and if you told me that you wanted to bet her at 10-1, I don't think I'd argue with you too hard.
The 7 Seduce goes out for trainer Graham Motion. Kendrick Carmouche, a well-bred daughter of Into Mischief, another filly cutting back in distance. Now, last time out at Delaware, she got caught up in sort of a hot pace duel with the runner-up. That race has come back very live. The winner returned to win with an 83 buyer. The runner-up returned to win with an 85 buyer. She's still lightly raced, and even though she's cutting back significantly in distance, she might have enough speed to stay close.
Yeah, she might. I thought she was one of the more interesting, bigger prices. I ultimately couldn't talk myself into her. I can't say that I love her cutting back in distance for this kind of a race. But man, I feel like they're shipping her in here and finding the right kind of a race for her, Dan. Pretty much save the last one where I think she had enough of an excuse. All of her turf races are pretty good.
The 8 is Miss Taparado, a beautifully bred daughter of Tapit out of the graded stakes winner My Conquistadori. She has a little bit of ability. I think she's a bit of a head case. Let's watch her last start at Saratoga going a mile where she sat just off a moderate pace. She takes over in the stretch, and she's just very green. She's looking out at the stands. She's eventually going to pop back to her left lead. Her tail's going to go up when she's urged on with the crop, and she gets tired here. And I think she kind of beat herself in this spot, Mike.
Yeah, she might have. She's got some learning to do, I guess, on the job here. The problem on it, she is sort of slowly taking steps forward for Belmont. I think that's a positive as well. I just can't say that I like any of her performances since she's come back off the long layoff. I mean, she is finding her way, and maybe this is the right spot for her, but I tend not to like these horses cutting back. And I just don't like her enough to take some kind of short price on her. With Irad riding and the figures that she's been running, she's taking money in here.
The number 9, Icy Stare Down, goes out for Joel Rosario Brad Cox. This is a daughter of Frosted, returning off a layoff and switching surfaces for the first time. I really liked the way she won her maiden at Oaklawn back towards the tail end of 2021. I know it was over a muddy track, but she sat just off. She forged by when it counted. She faced a couple of decent fields. I know she was the beaten favorite in her 2 subsequent starts earlier this year, but she fits this group very, very well. What about her turf pedigree?
Yeah, I think she has a lot of turf. But I mean, listen, I want to be positive on Frosted as a turf sire. It's not really working out. So we'll see how that goes down the line. There's a lot of turf on the dam side of this pedigree, though, Dan. So I like this surface switch for her. And like you, I really like her dirt form. If she can even come close, I think, to transferring her dirt form over to this surface in this field, I think she could be really tough in here.
The number 10 is Get the Candy. This is a New York bred who just went through her state bred conditions. She'll now have to prove her mettle against open foes. Let's watch her race at Saratoga last month, and Louis Saez just was able to get to the lead. And you rarely see turf races at Saratoga, and these sprints go almost 47 seconds for the half. get the candy at all of the things working for her from a pace standpoint, and she's able to hold off the cavalry charge.
She's going to hold on at the end here, but she certainly took advantage early in the race. Very game, though. You can see these horses bearing down on her through the stretch, Danny. She's going to keep finding, and she's going to get the job done. A pretty nice claim here, I think, for 3 Diamonds and Maker. I just find it hard to take her out of that race, Dan, because I think she'll make the lead in here. I don't think she's going to be able to go that slow.
Numbers 11 through 15, again, are entered main track only. So before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRFTV video franchises. Top pick time for our opening day race of the day at Belmont at the Big A. Icy Stare Down, the stranger in this race. I like that she got a little bit of a break, Mike. I think she might come back a more mature individual. She's so lightly raced, and she has enough speed to stay close to the pace.
Yeah, I like that about her. I do think that she can fall into the right trip here if she handles the surface. And again, I really like her turf pedigree, especially on the dam side. So I think there's enough there to make me feel like she'll handle the surface switch. And ultimately, Dan, I'm just sort of tired of all the horses that I've seen around New York in these turf sprints over the last couple of years. I'm a big Tuscan Queen fan. I've finally given up on betting her. I have no problem with Mrs. Green. I think she's the horse to beat. I'm going to try to beat him with Icy Stare Down.
I kind of share your sentiments about many of the local horses. I want to give Tuscan Queen one more chance because I thought she was in against a good group last time out, and I think maybe getting out to 6 will help her at the end of this, but she's going to need a little bit of pace, and maybe after this race I'll be like you, and we'll both be off Tuscan Queen. She's only 4-1 on the morning line. 9-3-1-4 for Mike, 1-3-8-6 for me. Your Thursday race of the day, race number 7 at Belmont at the Big A. Good luck.